Good morning, good morning. Welcome into the room, sis. How you doing this morning? Let's talk about something this morning. I want to talk about foundation. This word has been in my spirit this morning, and I want to just talk about foundation this morning. Is that all right? You want to come just talk to me for a few minutes about the word foundation, about establishing a thing and what you laying it on when you're gonna. Right now, I am working on building my community, right? And one of the things that the Lord is dealing with me on, how I found it, how am I going to establish this thing? If you're going to build a community, you're going to actually, whatever you're working on, whether I'm taught right now, I'm working on my community, but you could be establishing whether it's career, your ministry, whatever the case may be. What you founded upon is so important, right? Your core values, why you're doing what you're doing, it matters. It's going to make all the difference in your growth and in your advancement. So I cannot stray away from my principal values when in building my community. Yes, I am going to connect with people all over the world, everywhere, but at the end of the day, I know that my relationship with Christ is solid. In order for me to be able to be divinely connected with other people, we got to have the same inner workings in order for us to flow together. Amos 2:3 says that can two walk together except they agree. I cannot have people that are connected to me and we going in opposite directions. I got to make sure I solidify the foundation, the principles, the things that I'm standing upon. If I'm going to come in and I'm going to minister, I'm going to teach, I'm going to pour into people, I got to make sure that where it's coming from is laid properly so that I can be able to get in a place where I can be impactful and I can actually do the work that God is calling me to do. So I'm up this morning and I've been seeking the face of God concerning, how to move forward, how to do what he's calling me to do in this hour and in this season. And he made me go back to thinking about how in the scriptures it talk about how you're considering to who considers to build a house without first counting up the cost. You got to go back to the basis. You got to understand what it is you're working with and what it is you bring to the table. I went to the Standing on Business webinar this weekend, and one of the things that coach was pointing out to us, she was like, good morning, welcome into the room, sis. She was like, you got to know who you are, what it is you bring to the table so that you can be able to present to the people. So this live is more about laying a foundation concerning building my community here, letting you guys know who I am, what I offer, and so that you could be able to make sure that you're in the right room, make sure that you're connected to the right person. Because I don't want us to be able to actually have developed the relationship and spent this time together and then come find out later that we're not even flowing in the same pattern. We ain't going in the same direction. So we can't work together, right? So at the end of the day, let me just start out by introducing myself. Okay. My name is Renata. Renata McFadden. I go by Queen Fitness here on this app, but I'm a minister of the gospel. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and I actually love everything about fitness. And I found this out about 12 years ago. And so since I have such a passion about those things, I decided to come to the social media platform with the title Queen Fitness. That's not all that I'm founded upon. I'm more rooted and grounded in the word than it is fitness, but I just enjoy that era. So I talk about that. I know that that's a relatable subject that people can connect with me on, whether they are in the kingdom or not. But I deal with a lot with health healing internally. I teach people how to transform from the inside out. One of the main things that the Lord is showing me is mentally, the main blockage comes from our mind. So if we're going to be able to mature, if we're going to be able to grow, we got to go back and deal with the root issues. We got to address those wrong ideologies, right? So we learn things that are wrong. The world shapes and controls and impacts us in negative ways. We don't really realize it till it's too late. Some of the things that we get ourselves caught up in, we have to go back and backtrack and uproot those thoughts, uproot those habits so that we can be able to lay the foundation appropriately. So this is what we're here this morning to talk about: foundation. What is a foundation? Why is foundation so important? Okay, first and foremost, when you're talking about right, you have to root up for you to heal. If you want to heal, you're going to have to uproot those old things, those old mindsets, those patterns that you had created that were warped. Those things have to be uprooted if you want to mature, if you want to grow. So you got to go back to the basics. Start your foundation all over again. So we're going back to the basics of humanity, of us as individuals, right? So if we're going to be able to be who God called us to be, we got to make sure we go search our hearts. We got to make sure that what we're doing and our motives are pure. Make sure that our objective is in alignment with his will and his purpose. You got to make sure that anything that he is calling you to do, the foundation is laid appropriately, so that when you go out here and you start to build upon it. If you think about a house, right? Okay, let's just put it in the carnal perspective so that you can understand how significant a foundation is. Okay, when you're building a house, right? Thank you for contributing to my live goal. I appreciate you. The first thing that the contractor does, they survey, they clear off the land, and once they got the land cleared off, they lay the foundation. Sometimes the foundation is laid with cement, sometimes it's laid with a wood, whatever it depends on the builder and what they're trying to build. Now you laying a cement slab, you want to make sure they're going to make sure that it's laid smooth, make sure that everything in that foundation is appropriate. Why? Because it's gonna control how the whole structure itself develops. So even in the natural, we're going to make sure that that foundation is laid right. So why wouldn't you want to make sure your foundation spiritually is laid right? When you're saying, hey, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to establish a community. I'm going to establish a career, whatever the case may be. Make sure that the foundation, where you started at, your motives are pure. What are you doing this for? And how are you going to get there? You go to the source. The source is the Lord. He will give you the strategy. He's going to give you the wisdom keys. He's going to give you insight on how to appropriately do it so that you can be able to matriculate through the thing that he's calling you to do. So God is saying, okay, I want you to, he's called me to the social media platform, and I got to make sure I maintain my foundation, my principles, the values in Christ. I got to stay rooted and grounded in him so that when I'm actually teaching and when I'm instructing people, my instructions line up with his word. So we go back to Romans 12:1. He said, I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies to the Lord, a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to him, which is a reasonable service. We got to go back. That's the first thing. We got to make sure that we're in alignment with God. So we're going back and we're presenting ourselves to him the appropriate way. Make sure that our foundation is sure. Who are you doing this for? Why are you doing what you're doing? Now that you know that you're in alignment with God and you're doing it his way, then you can go to him and he can say, okay, I want to transform your mind. That's what we're doing. We're transforming our mind. We're dealing with our heart so that we can be able to be in a place where we can spiritually grow. We can see the natural manifestation of the advancement of the kingdom, and we can be able to be in a place where we can reach our full potential here on earth. How are you going to get to that place? By lining up with his word, making sure your foundation is solid, making sure no matter, because understand this, I don't care what you do here in this earth realm, nothing that you do in this earth is going to matter if you violate the principles of God. If you're out of alignment with his will and his purpose, all the stuff that you do here on the earth is for naught. So me coming here and me pouring into people in this platform, doing all this work, is not going to mean a hill of beans if I get out of alignment with the will and the purpose of God. My mission and my mandate is to please him. So I got to make sure my foundation is solid. Make sure that I'm staying in the place where I'm saying, okay, God, not my will, but your will. His will is for me to impact the lives of those people that I encounter every day. But how am I going to get to the place where I'm impacting the lives of the people that I encounter every day is if I make sure I keep my eyes on Christ, because that's where I'm founded in. That's where my root comes from. My relationship with him has to be the primary focus. Right, not my will, but your will. Okay, God, I want to be able to help people grow. I want to help people reach their full potential, help them find their way to freedom. He has me focusing so much on shedding light on gray areas in people's lives. It's so many things that we've learned that was wrong. So many habits that we have that hinder us. So we got to go back. We got to go back and address those mindsets, those patterns that have been developed in our lives that are not in alignment with his word, that do not serve us. They do not serve us. They actually hinder us from being able to reach our full potential. Things like low self-esteem, things like anxiety, things like depression, those things that have infiltrated our lives because of old mindsets, because of patterns that were not established outside of the word of God. And so we have to go back to the place where we're presenting our body to the Lord so that he can teach us how to walk upright before him, teach us how to fulfill our assignment here in the earth. So I'm here and I'm laying a foundation concerning my community. The reason why the people who are divinely connected to me, who will continue to come into this room, will have the same principle foundation that I have. They'll be standing on the word. They'll be in a place where being able to hear biblical teachings, hear sound doctrine won't offend them. Why? Because we're going to walk together. We're going to be on the same, our foundation is the same. We both have the same objective, to please God. Now, while we're in the midst of pleasing God, he will also allow for us to have opportunities to do other things here in the earth, whether it's monetizing here on TikTok, or whether it's establishing a foundation, whether it's a nonprofit, whatever he's calling you to do. You can establish those things, but you got to make sure that when you are out here establishing these things, that you're doing them the right way. Your foundation is laid appropriately so that when you build, it won't be warped. It won't be out of alignment. It will be the structure. The foundation is going to be the key to how the structure is developed. If you want to be able to grow organically, you want to be in a place where you're actually flourishing, you got to make sure that your foundation is solid. You're going to have to make sure that you're in a place where you're founded upon the rock. Jesus is the rock. You got to make sure that he is the solid foundation in everything that you're building. I don't care if it's your career, if it's your marriage, if it's your platform here on TikTok. You got to make sure that he is the solid foundation. Make sure he's the core, the center of everything that you do. When it's founded right, it'll grow it right. And then you'll be able to organically grow. You'll be able to be divinely connected to those who are actually drawn to your voice. So the voice that God gave you, the words that you speak, they have creativity. They have an assignment. Every time you open up your mouth and it's going to have an impact. So when you understand that and you understand principle, you operate within the biblical principles, you'll see yourself flourishing. You'll see yourself producing fruit. That's his word said. His word can't return him void. He said it. He said that we will be fruitful. We will multiply. But how we get to the place of being fruitful and multiplying is making sure that we're standing upon his principles, making sure that we're utilizing his word appropriately, making sure that when we speak, our words are sent. And they're words that are edifying, they're seasoned with love, and they're sent out to do what God called us to do. And the only way we're going to be able to be in that place is we make sure that we keep Jesus as the center, our foundation, our solid rock. We build upon him. If you look at that parable, when they built on the sand, the house was destroyed. When they built, the winds and the rain destroyed it because the foundation wasn't right. We got to make sure our foundation is right so that when the tests and the trials come, we won't succumb to those things, but we'll be able to overcome them because we have our strong, solid foundation in Christ. So that's what I'm up this morning, just thinking about, how important the foundation is. Making sure that you're in a place where you're in tune with his spirit and you're being led by him to do it his way. There's a way that seems right to a man, but the end is destruction. So we have to make sure that our ways are pleasing to God, and our patterns and our patterns and our attitudes are in alignment with his will and his purpose, by making sure that our foundation is solidified, making sure that the structure that we're building upon his word. That's our foundation. That's the principle. Now, there are times that people, when they start to build, even when they start to build on Christ, because of old mindsets and habits that are not broken, they may be having some area of deficiency in their structure. So you have to go back and you may have to tear down some stuff and reestablish. It's okay if you got to reestablish, as long as you got a solid foundation. You think about it, even with a home. If that home starts to deteriorate in certain areas, but if the foundation is solid, you can go back and you can repair the damage that's been done. But as long as your foundation is solid, the home is still a good structure. Termites may come in, other things may come in and do some damage, and you can go in and you can repair the damage and still have a home. And it still be solid. Why? Because the foundation was good. But if your foundation is warped, then the whole house is going to have to be demolished and started over. Why? Because the foundation got cracks in it. If the foundation got cracks in it and it don't have what it needs, then that's a problem. But if you go in and you get a home inspection and they tell you, okay, listen, that I see some termite damage, but we can repair this. They can go in and replace a few beams or whatever the case may be, and still have a solid structure. But if the foundation is cracked, then they'll be telling you that this home has to be demolished. It's got to start all the way back over, because when the foundation is cracked, everything is out of alignment. The roof, everything gonna be off when the foundation cracked. When it's not laid, if the slab is laid crooked, everything in the house gonna be off. So we got to make sure that when we're building on a solid foundation. We're making sure that we're looking to the Lord to be our comforter, be our guide, to give us what we need to fulfill our assignment in the earth. So when we're asking him, okay, God, how do you want me to accomplish this thing? He will give you the instructions, and he'll show you exactly who, and he's going to draw the people who are assigned to your voice when you're doing it appropriately. When we ain't got to go out here and try to got to try to conjure and do all that. No, at the end of the day, just show up. Good morning, kingdom blessings to you as well. Just show up. Just be who he called you to be. Be authentic and operate in your gift. The Bible says that your gift will make room for you. How can your gift make room for you if you're not utilizing it? You got to use it. You got to use the gift. The thing that he gave you, that's your magnet. That's what's going to draw the people. That's what's going to get you to the place of growth and advancement. The gift, the calling that he placed upon your life, he put it there so that you can be able to be in a place where you can be able to connect with those people who are actually assigned to your voice. And when you're utilizing the skills and the wisdom that he's giving you, then you'll begin to see the impact and the growth and the maturity that you desire to see. But you got to make sure you keep your foundation solid. Make sure that everything that you do is centered around that foundation. Making sure, hey, listen, I don't want to deviate from the plan. This is what I'm called according to his purpose, not mine. So since I'm called according to his purpose, I'm going to make sure that I stay in alignment with his will, so that at the end of the day, he can be glorified and I can receive the benefits. So I'm up this morning asking God, okay, God, how will I do this? What do you want me to do? And he told me, first and foremost, you got to lay the foundation. You got to make sure that the people who are connected to you understand what your principles are, what your values, what do you stand for? So that when they know what you're standing for, they'll be able to know if this is the place, this is the room for you. You understand this? I'm standing upon biblical principles. Anything that I teach, anything that I do is going to line up with his word. So if biblical principles is not something that you desire to receive, then this is not the room for you. But if you hunger and you thirst for righteousness, trust and believe me, you will be filled. You're going to be filled in this room. Why? Because I desire to please God. I desire to allow people to receive from the overflow of what he's investing in me. So since I'm in a place where I'm in a tune with his spirit, I'm going to show up and be a vessel that he can use for his glory. So when you show up and you're a vessel that he can use for his glory, he said, if I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw all men unto me. So I'm lifting him up because that's where my foundation is. I'm lifting him up so that he can draw the people who desire to have that kind of investment, who need somebody to pour into them what they need for their journey, strength for the journey. Understand that this is a room to be strengthened in. This is a room for you to receive encouragement, for you to be edified, for you to be built up. In this room, that's what you're going to receive. We're laying a strong foundation. Good morning, sis. Welcome into the room. We're laying a strong foundation this morning because I want you to understand where I come from, so that at the end of the day, when you hear and if this thing resonates with you, then you're going to have a desire to connect. Why? Because at the end of the day, this is what you're longing for. If you're looking for it, he'll serve you and he'll minister to you so that you can leave the room empowered to go out and do whatever it is he's calling you to do. Understand this. Everybody here has their own specific calling. You got a certain amount of people who is assigned to your voice. So you, at the end of the day, you're going to be willing to go out and do what he's called you to do because you're going to be strengthened for your journey. That's the whole point. The purpose is to come together, to be divinely aligned, to receive an impartation from his spirit so that we can be able to be built up in our most holy faith, so we can operate in our gifting, in our calling, and we can advance the kingdom. That's the purpose. But the foundation must be laid appropriately. Go to the place where you understand that this is all about God, not about Renata. So I'm here, I'm laying my foundation, making sure that when the people come in and they connect to me, they understand what I stand for. When they understand what I stand for, they can support and they can be a part of what God is calling me to do in the earth so that we can advance the kingdom together. Because at the end of the day, we're not doing like the enemy, trying to take God's glory for ourselves. We're in a place where we want to give him glory. We want to honor him in every area of our lives. I want to honor him in my finances. I want to honor him in my marriage. I want to honor him in my career. I'm honoring him even here on this app. So at the end of the day, I'm here. I'm here to pour. I'm here to... Okay, I don't know. Okay, thank you for your insight. But at the end of the day, I'm here to pour. I'm here to encourage people's hearts and help them understand that who God called you to be is a vital role here in the earth. People need what God is calling you to do. They need you to get up and walk in your purpose so that you can be able to impact their lives in a positive way. So how are you going to get to the place where you're going to be able to be an instrument that God can use for his glory? Making sure your foundation is solid, making sure you're staying in a place where you're saying, okay, God, I want to be humble. I want to do it your way. I want my will to be in alignment with your purpose. So here I am, God. Here I am, submitted to you. Here I am, listening, open, ready to receive as you pour. So that's where my heart is. That's where my heart is. God, I just want to be a vessel. I just want to be a vessel that you can use. I just want to be in a place where I can make sure that everything that I do brings honor and glory to you. So I got to go back and make sure that I'm laying my foundation appropriately. So I'm up this morning saying, okay, God, show me. Show me how to do this. Because when I do it in accordance to your will and according to your purpose, then lives can be changed. Then people can grow. Then people can get what they need. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that as I'm building organically. I'm not up here trying to worry about numbers and not up here trying to worry about trying to be influencing people. And I just want to love on people and show people that hey, you can do anything that God called you to do. You can do anything. All you got to do is trust You got to believe. You got to get in alignment with his will. When you trust and you believe you get in alignment with his will, then success will come. If you're not interested in what we're talking about, you can go to the next room. It's okay. It's okay. Just put your mind to it. Right. Anything. God, trust and believe me. If God is leading you to do a thing, he gonna give you everything you need to do it. He giving you the vision. He'll give you the provision. He'll give you everything you need to fulfill your assignment in the earth. We just have to trust him. We just got to be in a place where we're submitted to God. We go back to Romans 12:1. We just got to present our bodies to the Lord as a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to the Lord, which is our reasonable service. Then we have to make sure that we are transforming our mind. Make sure that our thoughts are in alignment with his will and his purpose. He said, don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of our mind. So we have to renew our mind. We have to deal with those old mindsets, those old feelings of inadequacies, those struggles in us that want to hinder us from walking in purpose. So many times people have full potential. They got so much that they could do, but because they have not addressed those old mindsets, they stay stuck. They're stagnated. And so God, he sends me to address those emotional barriers, those things that have been erected in our minds, and those struggles that we have that block us from being able to, good morning, welcome into the room, that block us from being able to actually grow, to actually fulfill our assignment in the earth. So many times we don't understand. Thank you for your daily heart, man. I appreciate you. So many times we don't understand that it ain't because God failed us. It ain't because he's not capable of doing what he said. You know what the problem come in is when we ain't dealt with the old mindset. We ain't healed. We have not grown out of the old place. And because we're staying stuck and repeat, we keep reliving trauma, keep recycling these old thoughts, then you find yourself in a place where you're stagnated. But that's not God. That's not his will for us to be in a place of stagnation. So we're not co-hosting this morning. I'm not sure what they're trying to do, but we ain't doing that. But when you don't address those root issues, that's where you find yourself in a place where you're experiencing blockage. You find yourself in a place where you're not fruitful. You've reached a place of barrenness simply because you have not dealt with root issues. So we sit down and we're working on ourselves. We're doing our soul work. We deal with, you got to examine yourself. You got to see if you're in the faith. You got to acknowledge those things that are in you. Those things that when understand this. Self-evaluation is so important. We want to critique and worry about somebody else's journey, but you only have the ability to impact and change who you are. You can't change nobody else. That's a person, that's an inside job. They got to change themselves. So if you want to be able to impact people and help them change, you got to be an example. So you're going to have to be willing to do your own work, be a demonstration of God's ability to grow and to mature so that they can see Christ through you, and then they can be drawn to him and have a desire to change because they see the evidence of him operating in you. They see the growth, they see the maturity in your own life. So that's where I'm trying to be, I'm transparent as I am in my room simply because I believe that my transparency is going to help somebody else. So you may come into my live and see me physically working on me. You may see me emotionally talking about some things that I'm working through in a season. You may see me just sharing personal testimonies and things of that nature, but I'm transparent so that I can help other people. Sometimes you can't go to a person and point out to them their struggles. But if they can identify and they can connect to you based on what you're sharing and it resonates with them, it gives them the courage to get up and do what they need to do. Some people may be just like I am. Hey, no, that don't pick up some weight. You need to get it together. But at the end of the day, you can't come to somebody and say, girl, you don't pick this up. But if they see you out here working, thank you for the gift. I appreciate you. They see you out here pressing your way through, working on yourself, showing up and being transparent. Listen, I be on here breathing heavy and all the good stuff when I'm out here doing my workouts. But at the same time, I'm doing that and I'm out here putting myself out here for other people, because there is some other people who are sitting at home who need to get up. They need to be motivated to get up and take their life back. But the way they living vicariously through me right now in this season. But eventually, keep watching me, keep hearing, oh man, keep seeing, they're going to see me transform right before their eyes. And eventually, guess what? They're going to be like, man, you know what? If Queen Fitness can do that, you know what? I can do it too. Man, let me get up. Let me get up for here. Man, watching her do this and watching her do that, man, I'm so inspired. I ain't picked up my running shoes in a week, but I'm gonna put on my shoes today because, man, I seen her out there doing her work, and you know what? I feel like I need to go do something today. Yeah, hey, so if that's what it takes to help motivate you, then I'll do that. I'll do it. I put myself out there, because at the end of the day, all I want to do is help people come to another level. Help them understand. Hey, you just got to show up for you. You just got to show up. You just got to be willing to put in the work. Understand this, that to whom much is given, much is required. We're asking God to give us all of these things. We got all these major prayers out there, but then we don't want to do no work. Make it make sense. It don't work like that. You're praying and you're asking him to do some things, then guess what? In turn, you're also saying, God, I'm ready. I want to work. I want to do this. I want to do that. Because you're asking him to do it. Guess what? Who's going to be the solution? You. The same thing. One of the things that I found out, I'm going to share this story with you guys, and I'm going to get ready to get off of here. Okay, so I found my foundation for intercession was birthed through me having an intense prayer life concerning somebody in my family. So I was just concerned about a little boy. And I was praying for his condition. And I'm like, Lord, he needs somebody to come in. If you don't send somebody, if you don't. And so I'm on my face and I'm crying and I'm praying for this little boy. Because I just see, and I'm so scared that if he don't get what he needs, things are going to be difficult for him in life. So I'm praying. Well, guess what? God let me pray about this thing. I prayed about this thing for about a year. And then next thing I know, he said, okay, you are the person. I want you to do it. And when he told me to do it, my heart was ready to do it. Why? Because I had already laid the foundation in prayer. I had already established my heart, and my heart had already been connected to him. So when the opportunity came for me to be taking care of him and making sure his meals was, making sure he got all his baths, making sure I taught him everything, God had equipped me to do the work. But the foundation was laid in prayer. I didn't know it. I had no idea that I was going to be the one who was going to carry the mantle to be able to be the impact in his life that he needed to be able to help him come out of some stuff. But at the end of the day, when the opportunity presented itself, I was ready because the foundation was laid appropriately. So I didn't shy away from the responsibility. I didn't murmur and complain about it. I wasn't frustrated about it. I understand, sis. I appreciate you for coming in, though. I thank you. So I had to do what I needed to do. So when the opportunity came for me to be able to fulfill that role in his life, I didn't shy away from it because my foundation was laid right. And because God had already pricked my heart and got myself ready to serve him to the capacity that I needed to serve him in. Understand this, that God would, if he keep pressing you in an area, he keep placing that on your heart, and you keep seeing something, and he getting you ready for you to walk in it, for you to carry out your assignment in that area. And sometimes it take a while for us to get through those barriers in our minds, those insecurities, those struggles, and those things that we don't erect it in ourselves that block us from doing the will. So then he'll get us to a place where he's penetrated the most stoniest places in our hearts and get us to a place that he can utilize us, and then he'll open the door and he'll give us favor and he'll assign us to do the thing that he's called us to. But the foundation is laid in prayer. It's spending time with the Father. The more time you spending time in his word and you get a chance to get to know who you are in Christ, then you'll begin to see, oh man, okay, God, now that's why I was so concerned about this. That's why this thing mattered so much to me, because you had an assignment for me here in this area. Now I can get up and I can do this thing. I understand it. I can walk in this place now. I can equip people now because I had to walk through some things. I had to learn how to break free so that I can teach other people. I'm praying and I'm like, okay, God, help me. But I didn't realize it was bigger than me. Sometimes the things that God is making you focus on, you be thinking it's all about you, when really the truth of the matter is your assignment is bigger than you. It's about those who are assigned to you. It's about the impact that you're supposed to have for the kingdom. So when I sat down and I'm gonna just talk about this book right quick. I'm gonna share this and then I'm gonna get ready to get off of him. When I first started working on my own personal emotional barriers, I started sitting down writing and working on me. I thought it was all about me, right? I just thought about, okay, the season that I was in and the struggles, the mind battles, the things that I was going through. I thought it was all about me, man. God, how do I fix my condition? God, how do I get to the place where I'm fruitful, I'm multiplying? God, I don't understand why I'm barren. That's what I'm praying. I'm asking God, help me. And so he had me sit down and start addressing the invisible bars, those things that were in my head, those things that were in my heart, those things that I had erected that were blocking me from being able to have connections, that was keeping me from being able to walk in purpose. I started writing them down. And then he began to show me, okay, I want you to give me your issues. And I said, God, well, why do I have to give you this stuff? Why do I have to, didn't I just end it enough that I just worked my way through this stuff? He was like, no, I want you to give me your issues. I want you to write it down. I want you to put it out there so that I can be able to help other people who's in captivity. So that's what this message, Breaking Free from Invisible Bars, is a book that I wrote. And it was all about my personal testimony, but it's designed to help other people who may be stuck in areas, dealing with anxiety, dealing with fear, dealing with depression, dealing with unforgiveness and low self-esteem and all these different struggles that we deal with. And we find ourselves blocked off from being able to be fruitful simply because of these barriers that we hide behind. We want to protect ourselves by isolating ourselves, causing ourselves to be disconnected. And so when you're in that place, you think, okay, I've been hurt. I ain't letting people in. You know, I'm just going to be honest. That's where I was. I just thought I was not a people person. I did not like people. That was my flesh. I didn't like people, right? But the truth of the matter was, it was a defense mechanism. It was me trying to protect my feelings. I ain't gonna let people in my word no more. I don't want to get to know people. I don't want to know people according to their flesh. That was what I said. I don't want to know people according to their flesh. But the truth of the matter is, I thought that this was going to protect me from being able to be wounded by other people by shutting myself off in isolation. But guess what? What I ended up doing? I ended up in an emotional prison. I ended up disconnected from the world and having unhealthy relationships and still a Christian. I'm a child of God. I'm going to church every Sunday, going to church every Wednesday, all this stuff. But here I am, this warped thinking, full of unforgiveness, full of anger, full of all this stuff, because I hadn't dealt with my root issues. And so God had to show me. I'm like, God, I don't understand. I've been serving you for 8 years and I don't understand why I'm broke right now. I don't understand why my stuff is so in disarray. And he said, it's because you're holding on to your inadequacies like they trophies. I need you to give me your stuff so that I can help deliver you for real. So deliverance had to come. But how did I get to the place where I was delivered? By going back and laying the foundation appropriately, laying on my face in prayer, going to God and fixing that stuff that was going on in my heart so that I can have a actual viable connection to the Spirit and to his people. We're supposed to be able to fellowship together. We're supposed to be able to connect. Why am I in a place where I'm a believer and I don't think that I'm sitting here thinking that I don't like people? Come on. No, that's not Christ-like. That ain't how he desired. But it was because I hadn't dealt with root issues. I had all this stuff from my past that was still cutting me off in the natural. I wasn't able to connect. Wasn't able to keep a job. My marriage was in trouble. I had so many things that was a mess in my life simply because I had not done the soul work. I just buried my issues. And so I had to go back. I had to uproot those things that were in my heart that were not pleasing to God. I had to lay them out before him and lay the foundation appropriately so that I can be in a place where I was divinely connected to the Father, so that he could use me for his glory, so that he could teach me how to be fruitful, so that I could multiply, so that I could connect with other people. I could be able to have valuable relationships. I could be in a place where I could love perfectly. How do you love perfectly? Get rid of that stuff. You got to let go. You're going to have to forgive. Forgiveness is for you. It's not for that other person. Understand this. Their accountability to God is still going to be their accountability to God, regardless of whether you forgive them or not. They still got to stand before God for what they did. They don't give them no get out of jail free card just because you forgave them. No, you forgiving them is for you. Your unforgiveness separates you from God. It blocks you from being able to receive the blessings of the Lord. He said, forgive those that trespass against us so that we can receive his forgiveness. That's biblical. That's principle. That's foundation. You got to know the truth so that the truth can set you free. You can't be in captivity, in bondage, and still be a child of God. That's not his way. He do not desire for us to be bound. He don't desire for us to be in captivity mentally, stuck, blocked in places. Blessings to you as well. Welcome into the room. He wants us to be free. He wants us to operate in wholeness. He wants us to have healthy, viable relationships. He wants to bless us. But how are we going to get to the place where we receive the blessings? We got to get rid of the junk. You got to uproot those things in your heart. You're going to have to do your own soul work. You're going to have to examine yourself and see if you are in faith. I had to sit down and I had to do a real exam. God had to show me. He's like, listen, he gave me the analogy of, I'm going to say this analogy. I'm finna get ready to get off here. I got to go to work. But he gave me the analogy of telling your child to go clean the room. When he was telling me, he was like, you know how it is when you tell your son. I got a 27-year-old son, so he just gave me something that I could relate to. He was like, you tell your son to go in there and clean that room. And then you come in here and you go behind him and you look. Yeah, boy, this room ain't clean. You got junk everywhere. It's all up under your bed. This ain't really clean. They're looking at it from the surface. Oh yeah, you done move some stuff around and half made up the bed, and from looking from the outside, standing at the door, yeah, it might look like it's clean. But the truth of the matter is it's full of junk. And you really got all this trash up under here, all this stuff that need to go. So I'm going to teach you how to clean this up appropriately. Let's get it clean to my standard, not yours. He wants your heart clean to his standard, not yours. Not, this fake smiling in people's face and pretending like y'all in a place and in your heart you full of hatred and unforgiveness and anger. No. We going to have to get that stuff right. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. You got to get it right. You got to go back and say, okay, God, you know what? I can't keep reliving these old things. I can't keep allowing this stuff that's in my heart to block me from being able to walk in my purpose. I had to really come to myself. I said, God, I don't understand this. Why am I not producing fruit? Why is my finances jacked up? Why am I sitting here right now facing foreclosure and my car being repossessed, and I'm a child of God and I don't understand this. How I'm living like this? What's going on here? And he said, okay, you want to know what's going on? Let me show you. And he began to show me. I looked in that mirror and I really understood. Oh my God. I am so far from you. I'm not doing it your way. My attitude is jacked up. The things about me, they don't line up with your word. And I'm wondering why you ain't blessing me. Okay, I get it. I can't. He was like, I want to bless you. I don't want to hold no good thing from you. But you got to get yourself together. You're going to have to, it's the illusion of being able to walk to the altar and say, a half-hearted prayer. Oh, forgive me of my sin. You ain't identified nothing. You ain't even began to address real stuff. What you asking him to forgive you for? You ain't even came to terms with what you did. Come on now, that ain't genuine. Oh, well, I went to the altar and I was literally in my prayer time telling God, I went to the altar. I told you I said for you to be my savior. I asked you to forgive me, like all self-righteous with this whole attitude talking to the Lord. And he like, yeah, you did, but she ain't changed. Your heart ain't changed. You ain't got rid of that stuff. You still sitting up here with this self-righteous attitude. You still sitting up here with these thoughts towards my children. You still sitting up here with this anger in your heart and this resentment and this bitterness. You still sitting up here. But you claiming you my child though. But you don't represent me. You don't line up with what I do. You don't love like I do. And I'm telling you, I said, okay, God. Okay, God. And it was a painful process. I'm telling you, it was healing is painful now. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. It was painful. I spent 9 months on my face crying out before God and saying, Lord, help me. Because I understood I couldn't do it by myself. I needed him to wash me. I needed him to strip me of the old so that he can make me new. So that I can get up and I can actually go forward in my life. You know, so many things in our lives will cause us to be stuck in a place. And we don't even know there's a thing in the natural, psychologists call it arrested development, right? You really literally are trapped in a place where you experience trauma and you don't even understand why you're not going forward. Because you are arrested in your development, because you have not addressed a traumatic experience in your life. Have you ever seen a person who 60 years old, still stuck in what happened when they was a teenager? They still, they living in their glory days. Oh man, I used to be a pro on the field. I was a star football player, and I'm like, man, you 60. We ain't did nothing between high school and 60. All you can go back is to your glory days at 17. Baby, listen. 43 years don't pass in 3. Come on now. You ain't got nothing else to glory about, nothing else to be rejoicing in, because you're arrested in your development. Because you peaked at 17. Oh, okay. All right then. You peaked at 17. But you 60. Something wrong with that picture. You up here and you 50 years old and you still trying to wear the same little dress as you wore when you were 13 because you love the way your body looked back then. And baby, no, come on now. You're gonna have to develop. You're gonna have to mature. You're gonna have to grow beyond that place. Come on, we're talking about foundation this morning. We're talking about making sure we solidified in our conviction, making sure that the things that we're doing is lining up with his word, making sure that our attitude is right, making sure that our heart is pure, making sure that our thoughts are pure, making sure that our words are words that we can stand behind. Words that we don't want to eat crow because we out here using our words inappropriately. It's so much. It's so much that can be addressed in this segment. And we'll probably revisit this topic again because I really believe that it's so important that we pay attention to our foundation. Make sure that our principles and our values are right. You want to grow, but thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. We want to grow, right? But we so busy trying to just grow fast. But you need to grow organically, because you don't want to grow. You don't want to grow like that. I'm just gonna leave it at that. You don't want to grow like that. You want to make sure that it's quality. It's having the time to actually mature. You're able to actually handle where you're going. You're rushing your process. And the thing about the accelerated programs, they serve their purpose, right? But at the end of the day, you can accelerate your knowledge, but you can't accelerate your maturity. So you rushing these kids, you pushing them to these grade levels because they can handle cognitive portion, right? They mentally can handle the knowledge, but they ain't mature as those people that are. So you think about a 10-year-old who can handle the knowledge of somebody that's 15, but they ain't got the same level of experience in life. They ain't matured yet. So they don't understand a lot of the things that a 15-year-old would understand. So you skip them up and you put them in a class with 15-year-olds and they gonna be devoured because they not ready. They ain't ready to go to that place because you didn't give them the time to mature. That's the same thing with your growth. You trying to develop on this platform and you trying to grow so fast and you trying to get to that place of somebody who been in this thing, been in the game 4-5 years, and you ain't matured yet. You don't understand the rules of engagement. You ain't developed yet. You gonna harm yourself. So grow organically. Make sure that you understand the ins and outs of how the things work so that when you're growing, you'll have a healthy level of growth and you'll be able to be impactful and not cause yourself to do damage to yourself because you put yourself in a place you ain't ready to handle. So I'm gonna end on that. I think that's a good place to end. Let me just pray for you before I get out of here because I gotta go to work, y'all. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, I thank you for this opportunity to just pour out of my heart into the hearts of your people. And I pray, God, that something that I said landed on good ground, that it take root in their heart and that they're able to really actually feast upon what you said to be able to help them pull out of them the best that you got invested in them, God. I pray for divine favor and for open doors and for provision for every vision that you have given them, God. I pray that you continue to allow them to grow by leaps and bounds and that they're able to reach their full level maturation process so that they can be able to do everything that you called them to do in this hour and in this season, God. We'll be ever mindful, God, to give your name the praise, to give you all the honor, all the glory. It's in the mighty, matchless name of Jesus I pray and believe. Y'all have an amazing day. I'll be back again tomorrow morning. Trying to get back to my 6 a.m. But right now it's been falling at 6:30. Between 6:30 and 7:30 is usually my time here on this platform. I appreciate everything that has been done in this room. All the support has been seen. And I don't want nobody to think that I didn't take it in because I did. I just kind of try to stay focused when I'm in the zone. But I appreciate you guys, and I see you guys real soon in these TT streets. Y'all have an amazing day. I'm out.